Hi, Jeanette. Fantastic to see you. Welcome to our show, which you're aware of. For anybody that's joining us on YouTube or Spotify, this is What's the Title? And no, you didn't get that wrong. The title of the podcast is What's the Title? Where we have conversations so good, we name them at the end. I'm Adam Harlow. I'm a professional life coach. I have been for 3 years now. I did it to jump in to help people. I believe everybody should have somebody to talk to get over hurdles, or just to talk to. Uh, you can find me at adamharlowcoaching.com, and I'll introduce you to my lovely partner in crime, Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette.
Hey Adam, lovely to see you. Our backgrounds are very similar, right? I'm new to the life coaching 3 years, but I spent 7 years in the mental, or well, longer in the mental health field. And like you, I just truly believe that people sometimes just need a leg up. They need somebody to talk to, somebody to help them, get their motivation up and to achieve their goals. So I love doing that. So the best way to contact me is at my email. It's my initials, JJ zungatreelifecoach@gmail.ca.
Perfect. And um, for those of us that are new here, this is how we do. This is basically the run up of the show. We have a book full of ideas because every time Jeanette and I talk, it's not specifically a recording. We often come up with, oh, that would be a good thing to kind of deep dive into, which is what we do. We don't answer any questions. We don't give professional advice. This is just the ongoing conversations of two people from two different backgrounds talking about kind of larger ideas. And so we have no idea what we're going to talk about until we turn on the camera. And like I said, we've got a book full of ideas. So I drop my pen, bam, whatever it lands on, that's the thing we're going to talk about today, which means I have about 10 seconds to prepare before Jeanette. And today we landed on love, and then in brackets specifically romantic love, which I'm excited for. That's a beautiful topic. It's a beautiful topic to dive into. It's one of humanity's greatest adventures,
Yeah.
feelings. Just it's just lighthearted. It's something that I hope everybody in the world gets to experience
I do
at
too.
least once. And I do believe you can experience more than once. But Jeanette,
Absolutely.
when I say romantic love, what pops into your head? How do you feel about love? Is such a strange question to ask.
How do I feel about love? Um, that is a very good question, Adam. Well,
Right?
right around the corner is a holiday that kind of, you know, codifies or captures the notion of romantic love, which is Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a lover of love. How about that? I have a strong romantic streak. I believe in the power of it and the beauty of it, and I get all squishy around when I see people in love. I love weddings, and so it's a thing for me, and I think it's essential. I truly do. I believe it's essential.
I like that word. Essential.
Hmm.
The way that it brings people together and the
Mhm.
hope, and it brings out the best in people. That connection, it's deeper than friendship. It's anchoring. It's
Yes.
there is nothing like it, and there are lots of versions of it. You're aware of. What are the four stages of love?
Oh, you caught me off. Well, firstly, there's the honeymoon stage,
Hmm.
and then as we move out of that, as we should, and that lasts about 2 years. And then we get into sort of where the relationship starts to firm up and become a working relationship.
Hmm.
And then there's the third stage where it hopefully deepens even more and you start to really, I think this is where the work of it comes in.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah.
And then I'm going to be honest, I'm drawing a blank on the fourth.
So the first one is attraction.
Yes, right. That
So
whole
before you get a crush, are you somehow inherently drawn to this person? Do you even
yes.
want to get to know them in order to get the crush? Uh, and that can be exciting, like having that like butterflies in your stomach before you've had that conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
And as I say that, I actually have a moment of like a little bit of fear because
Mm,
I've met people online. I've
mhm,
met people through texting, and it's not exactly the same as, say, you have a gym crush, right? You go to the gym and there's a person there, and you are excited to go to the gym because that person might be there. That kind of feeling is not the same as having somebody respond to a text message, and having text chemistry isn't the
right.
same as physical clo like proximity chemistry. It's different. And so I think the attraction part has shifted a little bit with a new generation.
That is fascinating because as I listened to what you were outlining there, my boomer brain, and for people listening, that's what delights Adam and I about our friendship. I'm a boomer, you're a um,
Millennial.
millennial, and we have so much in common. But then, of course, there's things that we look at in a different way.
Yep.
And so, yeah, when you were saying texting, I was kind of like, I don't know that I could meet somebody over text. And then there's all this swipe left and swipe right. But you're focusing right now on that initial attraction, which is based on when you say chemistry, it's things like pheromones and the physicality of it
Yep.
is a thing for myself as a boomer, right? Like I don't think I could do a text thing simply because it's not part of my wallpaper. I've never experienced it.
Yep.
My relationships were the old school. You had to meet the person somewhere. And so interesting, Adam. Yeah, different
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah, yeah, cool.
That natural organic thing, like speed dating used to be a thing, no longer a thing, where you go out in public and you sit down and you go and you meet a bunch of different people. They're the younger generations are becoming inherently less social. They're
Right.
becoming they're everything that you need is in your house. So going out, there's a lot more social anxiety that goes around. There's a lot more anxiety in
Mhm.
general, which goes
Mhm.
around, which is ironic. And I'm just going to throw it out there because there are a multitude of studies that show that the anxiety and the stress level in children is highly conducive to the fact that they don't get out of the house, that they don't have enough social
An
interaction face to
exposure.
face with human beings. It's all done through screens, and that is creating a strange, isolated stress because we are naturally, as creatures, we are still kind of villagey creatures. We still want to go out and meet people, and it's important inherently, maybe not to who you think you are, but to the animal that we are deep down inside. There is something that is a need, like eating. We don't recognize that as often as we should. Um, and so I've met people through text messaging. The other thing about that is that not everybody texts the way that they are in person.
Right. And that's where my boomer suspicion comes in. Like, how do you know feel confident that you know this person at all if they're just texting.
Catfishing is a word that came from somewhere where somebody
Oh,
is simply pretending to be somebody else to build a relationship with somebody
right.
based on lies. It's you're not even the same sex as the person that you say that you are. You're using somebody else's pictures that you found online. It it can be it can be very off-putting. You finally decide to go and meet somebody and they are nothing like the way that they text. And you're like, oh, and that crush immediately shrinks. You're just, and what you feel is like a crushing disappointment. And that adds to the idea that it's safer to be at home and text than it is to go out in the world and either feel rejected or feel disappointment.
Right.
It's just now something that we avoid kind of at all cost.
Interesting. So we were talking about the four stages of love, and I was going to get you to fill in the last one for me.
Hmm.
I'm just
Which is attraction.
the last stage.
Yeah, attraction. Attraction is either the first one or the last one is, and I don't know what the word for it. There's a lot of people that will say that they love this person uh in spite of their faults.
Right.
And the deepest stage, the ones that last are all-encompassing love. You don't
Yeah,
love somebody in spite of their faults. You love somebody because of their faults. You
absolutely.
learn. And this is a learned thing. This isn't something that you get when you're attracted to them or when you're having a crush. This happens in the core building phase because you finally recognize some of the stuff that your partner does that bothers you, and that either gets dealt with or doesn't. If it doesn't, it's going to lead to resentment and anger and like longer term issues. But if you get through that, if you can communicate your way through that, ideally you get to a point where you love every aspect of your partner. They're
Yes.
good, they're bad, they're sideways, all of it. And once you're there, there isn't anything that anybody can do that will shake where you are because you're not just grounded. Your foundation is built together. They are intrinsically linked. And
Absolutely.
that is from what my psychologist told me,
Ah,
uh, that's the end goal. You can't get any further than that is true appreciation for the person that you're with. Acceptance.
yes, very much. Yeah, I agree. So I would term like that fourth stage, which apparently takes about 7 years to get to if you've
Mhm.
worked through and done your, like you say, we're accepting certain things, changing certain things, coming together, accepting each other's quirks. And after a number of years, you've ripened. What came into my mind just now is like a ripe fig, like it's all soft and gooey and delicious. That's the reward for having those hard conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have it, think about that. So if you don't have those hard conversations, anybody out there that's having issues with their partner,
Yes.
before it gets to a point, I think the statistic is like 75 or 80% of couples that go to couples therapy are not going to make it because they've already given up. It's one of those
Yes.
things that as coaches, you and I try and add into the equation that you don't go to the gym once because you absolutely need to go to the gym. What makes it effective is that you go consistently to make sure that everything is as it should be. Mental health should be the same. Health in general should be the same. Don't start eating healthy because you've gotten to a point where if you don't eat healthy, you're in trouble. Eat healthy because it's good for you. It makes you feel better and it's better in the long run. So couples that will wait until the resentment exists and it's very difficult to get past that, they'll go to couples counseling thinking, well, in 3 or 4 hours, a professional should be able to help us deal with 10 years of
Right.
this heavy feeling that we've had with each other. And so even if you're in a decent place with your partner, if you've got a little bit of conflict going on or you're not feeling super comfortable, for the record, I have certificates in conflict management. I'm more than capable to sit down with two people and kind of separate them because
Yes.
it's really good to have a third party because when you're talking directly to each other, your emotions are involved. And a lot of it is built around that, how somebody says something and you respond with a defensive nature, which just builds the cycle. It just gets bigger and bigger. But if there's somebody in the middle who asks you and you can answer objectively, then the communication becomes much more solid.
Yeah.
It's much easier to accept on either part,
Yeah.
and uh, and does a lot of it does a lot of good in the long run. Have you ever seen Ted Lasso?
No, I've not seen Ted Lasso, and you have brought that one up before. I'm going to write it down again for my viewing.
Um, he has a thing in it, and my wife and I use it not
Oh,
religiously because we don't really need it anymore. But there's a place in the TV show where he brings up that he and his, counselor with his wife said that there's a safe word, and not that kind of safe word. They say Oklahoma, and Oklahoma means can we have a conversation, like prep our conversation by dropping our emotions. I want to talk to you about something, and I'm not attacking you. I'm not, this is just a thing that I have to say. And ideally, your partner will have one of two responses, which is, do you want me to listen or do you want me to participate? Because they are two very different things.
yes.
Guys, I'm talking to you right now. If your lady sits down and says, this is what's happening, this is what happened today, and you try and fix it, and all of a sudden you're in trouble and you're not sure why, this is what's happened is that your partner did not want you to fix it. They just wanted somebody to listen. Am I right?
You are 100% right. And this really fits with like kind of the stages thing, because in the early days of a previous relationship, that came up for us because he was a real fixer, right? And so we got our buzzwords going so that I would say, I am going to talk about something and I do not want you to fix it. Clarity. So he got better at listening. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So that was something we needed to work through. Um, yeah,
And that's a communication on both sides. Both the person who has something to say can say, I have a problem and I need you to help. Mm. Or I have a problem and I just need you to listen.
yeah,
Ideal, cool, got it. If your partner has trouble doing that, that's a different issue. Maybe go talk to somebody before that builds a bigger thing. But your partner it would also be really cool if your partner, as you're gearing up and getting into it, could be able to stop and go, just as a quick note, do you want my help or do you just want me to be here?
yes.
And that is I could tell you, is a powerful tool to be the partner who asks, because your partner will be so appreciative of the fact that you've recognized that there are two different ways to be there. If you have a problem with your boss or a coworker, and your husband is like, well, you should do this and you should do this and you
Oh
should do
boy, oh
this. And
boy.
you're like, I have no intention of doing any of that. I'm like, I'm not listening to you because you're not hearing me. And now you're in a fight, somehow that
There
started
you, yeah,
started with somebody just trying to air, just get it out, just get that energy out. And now all of a sudden you both feel unseen and unheard. So that for anybody kicking around out there, try that. Just try that singular question. Do you want me to help or do you
hmm
want me to be here?
yeah,
Because that will help a lot of conversations. And for us, it's Oklahoma. And it is, I was shocked. I was shocked at how prepping the conversation with, okay, emotions down,
yes,
objectivity on,
yes,
emotions off.
yes.
And then you can talk your way through lots. And that builds the core, right? That,
Yeah, trust as well, right? Trust is essential to a healthy relationship of any sort, but probably uh, romantic love would be the one place that if there's no trust, it's not going to fly. And I remember reading somewhere along the line that a good love is defined by the amount of hard conversations the couple has had. So you're so on point about that. And like, yes, as a coach, and I'm going to back up a little bit even more here, it is a field because we can help you with the relationship, but please come in before, as Adam said, like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And he's quite right. It's shown over and over again. People come for help and it's almost too late. So come in if you want that relationship to work and you're noticing some bumps that you're not quite getting over, some hurdles, but you really are committed to this relationship, want to make it good, hire yourself a life coach and kind of go over, pick it apart, troubleshoot it, and go back to your relationship in a much more open way.
mm. Even as an individual, you don't necessarily have to bring in your partner. It's entirely possible
100%.
that by the end of the hour, you recognize that, like, maybe I should do this, but having an hour and talking to somebody objective about it, we're here to listen. We are not here to fix. We are here to listen and try
Right.
and, if we can, we're perspective shifters. So, if there's a thing that you are looking at, that this is a problem that you keep running into, we are going to ask, why do you think that this keeps coming up? Where is this, where does this come from? And how does it feel when it happens? And what can you do? What can you do uh, to help guide this? And the amount of aha moments where somebody's been like, I can just I can just ask them to not fix it. Hey, there we go. So, the next time you have this conversation, what are you going to do?
Absolutely.
And if the person who's bringing it up says, I just need you to be here. I remember the first time my beautiful wife told me that, and I was like,
Uh,
I have ADHD. I have opinions and thoughts, and it's really hard to keep them inside my head. So when she's like, I just need you to listen, I was like, her, okay. But when she was done, she felt way better. And the fact that she felt way better made me feel way better. And uh,
oh boy, she must treasure you, you know.
sometimes,
I hear ya. I hear ya. You know, I had a moment with my spouse the other night. We were just sitting there, cannot remember exactly what we were talking about. But I looked at him and I suddenly realized, and I said to him, you are the person in my whole entire life that knows me the best because I know he's a good listener and just that's his nature. And I feel like I can just say the things I haven't shared with other people.
Mm.
some of the stuff you don't want to share with other people, but I've shared with him.
And unfiltered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice moment. And here we are, two retired boomers, but we're still kind of cycling through these relationship. I don't want to say issues, but there's not going to be a perfection, and there's not going to be a end game. Well, there will be one day, which is super sad, but you know, there's no winning.
No.
It's just in the day-to-day interactions where it all plays out, right?
I think that hits a there's a term there that you use that is very important. There is no winning. Um, if you are in a relationship and you see things as win-lose, you are inherently building yourself into a space of failure because
Right. Hmm.
arguments are conversations that have gone wrong.
I love that. Yes.
And if your goal is to win an argument, that means that your spouse has lost the argument and they are going to feel less inclined to tell you about a problem they have further down the line because it sucks to go into a place that's supposed to be safe and come out feeling like a loser.
100%. So I'm going to ask you a question based on the fact that you're a man. So, but I'll start it. When people play baseball, so as a boomer, I don't know that maybe there's a different way, but we used to figure out who would go to bat first. You did this to the top, and then person who could cap. Is that still a thing?
I don't know, I don't play baseball, but I do know at the beginning of football, right? They flip a coin.
Right. But the so you would try and get to the top of the bat to quote unquote win. And this is men, I would ask them when I worked with men in addictions and whatnot, I'd say, do you go into a conversation like it's a race to the top of the bat? Like you want to win. You
Yeah.
want to get in there, prove her wrong, and that's that. Because as a man, you're a little more, and I'm going to be sexist here, and I'm so sorry, but a little bit geared toward
Competition.
competition. Is that a fair thing?
I think that's a fair assessment. I don't think it's I don't think it's feministic, misogynistic, whatever it is. I do
I
think
hope not.
competition is more inherently driven in men. We do have that deeper thing. And it's funny as like the visual of grabbing the baseball bat to get to the top, not necessarily about winning, but winning in a conversation like that is getting the last word.
Yes,
It's
yes,
like you're the one that gets to like cap the thing off, is you're the one that got the last word. And that isn't, if you said something that is meant to stop the conversation and your partner continues to go, well, now you're both angry. And now it's turned into something else entirely. There's a new bat going on that you're racing up to the top of. And the irony is the whole thing started like at the ground and it didn't need to go anywhere further than the
yeah,
ground.
yeah.
And it is, I love that you asked that of all kinds of different people,
Hmm.
people with addiction. It makes perfect sense. The justification. Uh,
Hmm.
people would, the people that love you around you would ask, like, why do you see this as okay? Why? And the inherent drive to justify your actions means that you need to win. You need to have the last word in order to prove to yourself that what you're doing is justified.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, maybe all that other person needed to do was just say it. Just say it out loud. Like We'll go super deep addiction. When you come to my house and you steal my stuff, it hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I don't really need, there's no yeah, but just bam. And then the other person responds with, yeah, but you know, you're the only person that I know that will, you can afford it. You're the only person that loves me enough to let it happen. And
Right.
then the list of justifications happen, and the person that it's happening to is like, I don't know why I said it. Like, I don't know why I said it at all. Now I'm more upset than I was before I said it. It's just easier, and this is the scary part, and it goes with romantic love as well. If it's easier, when it becomes easier to not say anything, you're almost past the point of going to get help. That would be the big red flag, is when you start holding things in because it's easier to hold it in than it is to say it out loud. Welcome to the world of resentment.
Yes, indeed. You nailed it. Absolutely. I want to say, I'm not a particular fan of Dr. Phil, but he said something once that I've remembered about, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? It's a little simplistic, for sure, but that's a good place to start, I think. Like you've got conflict. And here's another thing that I saw even recently. It's been around a while. If you are a parent out there, one of the best things you can do for your children is to teach them and model good conflict resolution. So when a couple, the parents model, oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Thank you for telling me. You validated one another. You don't act like it's the end of the world because you don't agree on something. You can get to some sort of consensus. Then children will come out of that home able to do so. See, I was raised in a home where being fractious was almost like a sport. You went to win. You went into an argument to win, like especially politics and whatnot.
Hmm.
So I came away with that. And in my early relationships, I am a little chagrined to admit I went in for the kill. Right? I want to be correct.
Yep.
You're not going to get the last word in edgewise. So, and I wanted to win.
Mm.
And a lot of times, what I didn't understand either, what was underneath that was I was hurt and defending myself, and rather just coming from vulnerable. I'm just really hurt that you did that. We need
Hmm.
to talk about it. See, I know that now.
See, anybody that's listening, these are the things we learn as we go along the way. Um,
100%. Yeah.
and that's also the place where your responses come in the form of hurtful statements because you're
Yes.
upset and you're
Right.
defensive and you want the conversation to end and you want them to feel how upset you are. So you say things that are
Yes.
targeted and hurtful.
Yes.
And that damage is, you want to feel safe in your relationships, and having somebody actively say things that they know are going to hurt your feelings, it's it's detrimental. Let's just say it's
Yeah.
not good in the long run for relationships. The people, if you're in a romantic relationship, your partner is going to say things that hurt your feelings, and rightfully so. I'm throwing it out there because, as a parallel, when you think of a best friend, your best friend is a person that can tell you the truth in a way that other people can't. They
Yes.
can be blunt about it, and you're like, okay, yeah, I see you. I see where you're coming from. Ideally, your partner should be able to do the same thing. Now, because you love them, there's a deeper connection there, and so when it hurts a little bit more. Knowing that you hurt your partner hurts, and it immediately triggers like a defensive
Yes.
nature. But ideally, you would have I there's attraction, and then there's the honeymoon phase, and then there's the building the core. And building the
Yeah.
core, the love that you have should be your best friend. That is, for me, That is the be all end all. Your partner knows everything about you, stuff that you've never told anybody else. And
Yeah.
some people have friends that they have had for 40 plus years, and their friend knows everything about them, which means they know their history, they know where they came from, why they think the way they do, their own bias, and they're able to use that in a conversation to
Yes.
show you, like, have you thought about this? If you were in a romantic relationship with somebody who had the same thing, your conversations could be so much more productive. And in order to get there, as you said earlier, you need to be vulnerable. You need to say the things that are hard to say, the things that you are afraid to tell somebody else because, you're throwing yourself out the window and you're hoping that they're going to catch you. But jumping out that window is terrifying. And if you're with somebody that even that's not true. I was going to say if you're with somebody that truly cares, they're going to catch you. Not everybody has the skill set to do so.
That's true. Yeah, like when you're talking about moving beyond that honeymoon phase, as we like to call it, and then you get into, okay, now you're building, and then, uh-oh, now the things are showing up. They squeeze the toothpaste in the middle, or they might say or do things that hurt your feelings. So now we got to come up with a system that is unique to us. Like you guys have Oklahoma. Um, the couple begins to sort of create their own playbook, and then they both play
Yep.
by it. The other thing to recognize, I think, and this is one, and it pertains to coaching in a way, is confidentiality. So within our ethics, anybody would come, because what I'm going to say is like, don't talk to anybody outside about your relationship issues. I'm not saying that exactly, like a professional is bound to keep confidentiality. So you can bring that into the coaching space. But the vault, it's
Yep.
called the vault. So when your spouse reveals, and I've seen and heard this, and I really cringe. I've been around people, and they'll share something like, "Do you know what my, silly partner did the other day?" Blah blah blah. And I like, you're embarrassing them in front of you. You just tore open the vault.
Yep.
What's your take on that? Because there's also, relationships can't have enforced secrecy either. Don't you dare tell anybody else. That's no.
Something else entirely.
Right, right. But the notion of the vault.
I can see where it stems from. You and I have often wandered into the metaphor of, way back when it was villages, when we lived in caves, everything was a group. Everything was done by a group. And so if
Yes,
something was going on, going over and getting more than one perspective in the moment, I can see how that can be productive because
right.
you go and you talk to your best friend and they have a perspective, but they also have a bias. But if you sit with two or three different people, you're going to get two or three different perspectives, and that's going to be potentially very productive for you. But in order for that to be good for the whole, and also like I'm going to say there's a group of eight people, uh, four couples, and you go and you talk to the ladies of the group, and now all of the ladies know what John did.
Right.
And the next time you have any sort of social thing, you can either uh, ignore it, like not say anything, like pretend that you don't know, but you know. And even if you don't say anything, you're going in it with like a harumph, harumph, harumph kind of
Mhm.
mentality. So for those circumstances, you would have to be aware that those people are safe, that
Absolutely.
and generally speaking, and this is a generalization, but an awful lot of friend groups. And I think those of us that are listening out there will recognize this. There's always one person in your friend group who likes to tell secrets. Oh my God, I just found out. And
Right.
if they go and tell their partner, now it's in the men's realm. And he for sure is going to go tell John that
Yes.
like my wife knows about this. And
Right.
then that conversation that should have been had in private is
Yes.
going to happen defensively. It's going to be um why why would you tell like this is a thing. Why would you tell them and not talk to me? Well, I was trying to prep to talk to you and I just wanted some opinions and that's hurtful because as as the man in that situation, it would hurt my feelings knowing that you didn't feel safe enough to talk to me to begin with.
100%. Yeah, there's that trust. And then another element, you know, that the relationship that's moving along nicely and working things out is, of course, respect. So if you
Mm,
respect your partner, you're not going to just spread their business all over in public. And of course,
mm.
social media is just making hay with all this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, be very careful who you share with. And maybe I would say it might be good to ask permission, like, we seem to have an issue here that neither of us really know what to do, but my friend so and so, who I know won't tell, do you mind if I consult?
Or we know that her and her husband went through something similar. Do you
Do you
mind
mind?
if I go
Yeah.
get her
And
opinion?
right. And if the answer is no, then you keep that.
Then respect it, right?
Yeah.
It's your partner. Respect it. And it's funny, like thinking in terms of that. So you would go in and you would have a hurdle. There's a thing that you're having trouble with. If you go and share it to another side, now you have two hurdles.
Yeah. You're right.
Which is exactly the reason why um, doing before things are a major problem,
Yeah.
that's why it's really helpful and healthy to come
Hmm.
and talk to one of us because then you get that objective perspective without having it get thrown in their face in any way whatsoever. We're
Absolutely.
basically the void, right? You can come and talk to us and
The
nothing will
void.
come of it
Yeah.
except your own perspective.
Yes.
And ideally, you after an hour, you will walk away from our conversation feeling a little bit different, either a little bit better or a little bit more grounded in having that conversation. Like, okay, now I know kind of where to go in, or you know, one of our most popular, most effective questions that you can ask somebody is, what's the worst case scenario? Like, what is the
Yes.
worst thing that your partner could say to this issue? And if you're the one speaking to a coach, when you say that out loud, like, well, he's going to or she's going to explode and it's
Right.
going to be the end of us and they're going to throw me out of the house and I'm going to have to start my life over. And you're like, all right, now that you've said that, what are the actual chances of that happening? Not very high. You know, like less than 10%. And they're like, yeah, less than 10%. You know, like, okay. Knowing that, how do you feel about moving forward with that conversation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, what's your best case? And if they can think of a best case, then you have kind of a goal. As
Yeah.
long as it's not an expectation, you have kind of a this is what I'd like. And even that can help going in and knowing I just need you. This is just a thing. This happened. I'm not attacking you. I don't want this to be a thing. I just want to let you know that this happened and this is how it made me feel. There's nothing to fix. I'm okay. I'm past it. I just want to say it out loud because I don't want to hold it in.
Yeah. 100%. Adam,
And
you are such a gem. I don't know how many people you've coached around relationship issues, but I really see that as one of your fortes. You have a few fortes, if I may say so, but yeah, I can just see how excellent you'd be with people, maybe men in particular, I don't know. But certainly the issues that we all get into in our relationship wise are on both sides, if you will, or all sides, I should say, of the relationships. We all go into wins sometimes, or we all get hurty feelings, or we all say something or do something, and we all need to figure out how to get to that other side and restore balance where everybody feels good again.
yeah, yeah. And truth be told, there is only one way for that to happen. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing that resolves the vast majority of problems that human beings have. You have an honest conversation about it. And
Yeah.
it's so scary in so many different ways to have a vulnerable conversation with somebody. But
Yes.
every time you do, and it doesn't matter what relationship it is, could be with your parents, could be with your friends, could be with your
Yes.
partner. Every time you have one of these conversations, you are going to solidify the relationship that you are dealing with.
Yeah, it will become the glue. You're right. I think for some people, we talk about it's another issue, but conflict avoidant. And so if you haven't grown up or witnessed that conflict creates divides and people leave or some such thing, you're going to go in with that. You're right. And you've already outlined that really well, that if you can just see that, let's just spend some time with this toughie thing that makes me uncomfortable. We
Hmm.
work through it. Our trust is deepened. Our confidence, it's like a muscle, right? You work it out and you grow it. We're
Yep.
really good at this now. Okay. And on the other side is, can I say smooth sailing? Or you restore?
Yes. I think that's a good metaphor because
Yeah.
smooth sailing exists,
Yes.
but another storm is coming.
Yeah.
Right? That's the I was in a relationship, fun story. I was in a relationship for a really long time where we were really good because we never fought.
Ah.
Turns out we were not really good because we never fought, because both of us had these things that we just never said out loud. And eventually they build up into one massive nuclear bomb where the gates open and everything that has been waiting finally comes out, and you realize that you didn't really know this person at all, that you can't deal with all of this because now you have a laundry list of things that you need to fix for yourself and deal with. And that's when you go to couples counseling and your counselor's like,
Oh, shoot. You're right. Yeah. We got to undo 12 years of, or however long. So,
where would you like to start? What was the
yeah,
first thing that happened? And then rebuild and try and teach communication. So for anybody listening out there, the most courageous thing that you can do is say the thing that you're scared of saying.
Adam, that you nailed what we're trying to say here. And I'm just mindful that we're coming up to our wrap up stage.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, again, I just want to say if you want some good relationship coaching, it doesn't have to be that your relationship is in trouble necessarily. Maybe you just want to take it to the next level and you're not quite sure how. And
Mm.
so I'm going to say, find Adam, go have an hour or two or three with Adam. And it's an investment in your beautiful relationship. Because what you just said
It works on every level. It's not just couples.
certainly
It
does.
works on every level.
Yeah, the courage. What is it you said? The courage.
The most courageous thing that you can do is Say the thing that you're afraid of saying. And actually, that because we are winding up to that time, and if you're a first-time listener, watcher, this is generally speaking how we finish our conversations, and also where the title of our show came. So Jeanette, do you want to ask me because I feel like I've already found it?
Oh, well, yeah, I sure do. All right, so Adam, for our show today, our topic today, if it was the title of a book,
Hmm.
what would that be?
The most courageous thing that you can say is the thing that you're afraid of saying. That's what I would call it.
By Adam Harlow.
By Adam Harlow. And
Beautiful.
on that note, if you are looking for me, again, you can find me at adamharlowcoaching.com. I have a website, adamharlowcoaching at Gmail. I have an Instagram. It's Adam Harlow Coaching. At this point, it should be beaten into your brain. You should know where to find me. And Jeanette, where do we find you?
Well, I've just got one kind of access point. It's just my Gmail, JJ, my initials, zungatreelifecoach at gmail.com. And I'd be delighted to hear from anybody.
Yeah, if anybody out there is struggling with anything,
Yeah.
just need somebody to talk to. Also recognize that for both of us, the first half hour is free. All you have to do is let
Yes.
us know. You will get my time and my attention, and I will throw it out there. I often have trouble saying goodbye, so you could book a half an hour, and if I don't have anybody after that, it's a high likelihood that you are going to get more time than that. I shouldn't, but I do. It's who I am. I want to be there. And Jeanette, I want to thank you for your time. As always, this is usually the highlight of my week. This was wonderful to talk about. I'm really excited to tell my wife um, how we kind of opened up and showed I feel lovely about the relationship that I'm in because I'm in love with my best friend. And when we say there's nothing we can't get through, we know that that was built on a bunch of conversations of little things that we were worried that we wouldn't get through. And the more you do that, the more solid it gets and everything just gets better. So on that note, I adore you. I will see you next week. We'll be posting today. Like, subscribe, do all the things that YouTube wants us to do because that's what the algorithm tells us. And if there's anything that you would like us to talk about, leave it in the comments. I'm happy to throw it in the book and hopefully it'll come up one day soon.